Now, former United States President Donald Trump has condemned the violence against Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh. Now, in a Diwali message, Trump first extended his greetings on the occasion and then went on to accuse his Democratic rival and Vice President Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden for ignoring the Hindus in the United States of America and across the world. In a tweet, Donald Trump strongly condemned the barbaric violence against Hindus, Christians and other minorities who are being attacked and looted by mobs in Bangladesh. He said under his administration, he will make sure that Hindu Americans are protected and they are protected against the anti-religion agenda of the radical left. Trump has also promised to strengthen his ties with India and with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Donald Trump has often been referring to him as a very good friend, and he said if he's elected again, one of the things he will do is to strengthen his ties with India and with Prime Minister Modi. Now, if you remember, in July and August of this year, there were several members of the Hindu community in Bangladesh. They were attacked. Their properties and shops were vandalized by a mob after Sheikh Hasina fled Bangladesh.
From Donald Trump's perspective, I think he understands that these are important issues for Hindu Americans. And look, where are Hindu and Indian Americans living in the U.S.? Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, all these states are in play, and his campaign understands that he needs to appeal to them. And some of the things that he's talked about, in this tweet, I mean, you look at, a perspective from somebody who's an Indian American and who, wants both the countries to work together. I mean, look, he's talked about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's talked about issues like the atrocities against Hindus in Bangladesh, which was a very important topic for a lot of Indian Americans. There were protests from Washington, D.C. all the way through California, asking the government, the existing government, to take action and condemn those attacks. And we probably did not see that condemnation for days, if I remember correctly. So Donald Trump is playing the right Trump card right now. I think he understands that this election will be won by very, very, very thin margin. And he's trying to get the Hindu American vote, the Indian American vote, to support him in his race for the White House.
Now, the elections in the United States of America will take place on the 5th of November, barely 4 days after. So this basically means that this is a very tightly contested elections. On one side is the former president, Donald Trump. On the other side, the presidential candidate is Kamala Harris, who's the vice president of the United States of America. Now, in this election, every voter matters. Every opinion is counting, because this actually is a very tightly fought elections. My colleague Shivani Sharma is now joining me on the story. Shivani, the elections are just round the corner, but at the moment, what's important to note is the fact that there has been no response from the Democrats at the moment on the statement which has been made by Donald Trump.
See, Aishwarya, elections are around the corner in the United States and the campaign is going on in full swing. And in that moment, we are hearing the statements that are coming in from Donald Trump. He has not only condemned the kind of atrocities and the barbaric acts are happening against Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh, but he also says and calls for strengthening the partnership with India. He is also saying that if he would have been there in place of the present government, this would have never happened either in Bangladesh or other places. And he says that Kamala Harris administration will further weaken not only the economy but the state of Hindus out there. So this is the kind of remarks he's made. And he also says that Hindus in America will feel safer. The minorities across the world will feel safer when he will be the president. So in a way, he's calling for the support of the Hindu and Indian diaspora in United States of America. And he's also condemning the acts that took place in Bangladesh.
Right, Shivani, the world is actually looking at the United States of America and very keenly looking at this very tightly fought elections, because at the moment, even if we look at the polls, barely there's a difference of some points between Donald Trump on one side and Kamala Harris on the other side. But if we speak about the minorities, we have seen in the United States also, Shivani, how over the past many months, temples have been attacked, vandalism has taken place, and some of the members of the Hindu community have actually been attacked. So that actually the security threat that Donald Trump is talking about is very real.
Aishwarya, there have been incidents of attack on Hindus, on the temples and other religious places of minorities in United States of America, and there have been a concern among the people who live there, the Indians who live there, the Hindu diaspora and other minorities also. So in the wake of all this, the acts that have taken place in past months, Donald Trump is now calling for better security for Hindus and minorities, not only in the United States, but also in other countries of the world. He says that Hindus have been ignored in US, and he's calling for support from all the Hindus and other minorities there. He is also saying that whatever has happened in US in recent months should not have happened, and the present president is not voicing his concerns of whatever is happening against the Hindus. So that is the concern what Donald Trump has raised, and he also calls for support and friendship with India and strengthening the partnership.
Thank you, Shivani, for getting us those details and putting things in perspective. Donald Trump now raising fingers at Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and saying none of you are doing anything for the Hindus in the United States and globally.